Wedding and myweddingplanningcourse.com. As always, today is Wedding Wednesday, and I'm here to talk about attention to detail. So anyone who joins me on Wedding Wednesday Live and asks a question, you can ask a question or post a comment in the comment section below, but anybody on Wedding Wednesday Live with me who asks a question will get a free My Wedding Planning Course notebook shipped to them directly with a special message from me. So you can also buy these notebooks on my website, myweddingplanningcourse.com, for I think they're $9 or something like that, but you'll get a free one if you ask a question. So welcome to Wedding Wednesday. We're talking about attention to detail. So what does that really mean? What is attention to detail? What are some examples of attention to detail that you can use in your wedding, or just kind of kickstart some inspiration or ideas for your wedding? So one thing that I wanted to show you, actually I have a couple of things that I wanted to show you today. One thing is your nails. I like, it's actually kind of a recent thing that I've been doing, but I really like getting my nails done. I usually get pedicures, but I've just recently discovered that gel, unlike regular nail polish, does not chip or anything like that. So I can actually sit and type at a computer or do dishes or laundry or whatever I need to, and I still have pretty nails. So I like that. You know, and getting your nails done is awesome. A lot of girls get their nails done for their wedding, but to add that attention to detail, a lot of girls will get their nails done in one color, except for their ring finger they'll do in like white or silver, or they'll do a different color, or they'll do something completely different with that particular nail. And so that's just adding another element, another layer of attention to detail that you can add for your wedding. Something else that I would highly recommend is that you bring with you on when you're walking down the aisle, carry it in your bouquet. So when you're walking down the aisle and you're carrying your bouquet with you, have a handkerchief. And you know, that might sound strange, but you know, you might cry, you might sneeze, you might have anything could happen on your wedding day, right? So I recommend carrying a handkerchief with you, because you definitely like don't want to stuff it down your bra and don't want to have it someplace that you can't readily access it. So carry a handkerchief with you. And if you want to add attention to detail, a lot of people on Etsy will actually embroider your handkerchief. So you could write like, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Smith getting married March 1st, 2018, or whatever your special date is. You could have a message written to someone. You could have like your favorite Bible verse. You could add all sorts of different things onto your handkerchief. So check out Etsy for that. Something that I did for my wedding is I really wanted to have a candy display. So I set up a candy bar, and I included in the candy bar these little candy scoopers, and I could have very easily, and this is actually one from my wedding, I could very easily have just put out the little plastic candy scoops and let it be that, but I decided to add another layer, another element of detail by adding this beautiful mint colored ribbon. So, and obviously, like, I could have done all sorts of things with this, right? Like, I could have wrapped the handle with the ribbon. I could have made a better bow. I could have hot glued the bow rather than just tying it on there. But there's all sorts of different ideas and things that you can add for adding elements of detail to that. And something else, and this is really just me, but when a lot of manufacturers manufacture plastic items like this, they use what they call injection molding, which actually leaves little fragments and little pieces where they have to like pop the end of the plastic off of the whole thing, right? So if you actually look at like the corner of, you can kind of see it that way. If you look at like the edge of the handle, you'll see this little like plastic piece where they kind of snapped off from the rest of it. And that was actually a bump. There was like a piece of plastic protruding from the handle, and I didn't like that. And so what I did was I took a regular set of nail clippers and I literally whittled it down, and I basically shaved off that little piece of plastic off of the end of the handle. And you don't have to do that, right? Like no one, God forbid, nobody is going to go to your wedding and see a little piece of plastic and say, gosh, their wedding sucked. Their wedding was hideous. Like, who would ever go to a wedding like that? I can't believe that, right? Nobody is ever gonna say that, and if they do, they're not your friend. But you know, it's again, it's attention to detail. It's adding another element. These people notice these sorts of things. Whether they say something or not is a different story, but they definitely notice just little details like that. And so it was important enough for me, and it was the right decision for me, for my wedding, to be able to do something like that, to take that extra little plastic piece off of the end of the handle. So I want to encourage you that, you know, if you have any quirks like that, or if you want to, you know, make your wedding extra special and go above and beyond, I would definitely recommend things like this specifically. Plan that out. Have that done. When you and your fiance are sitting at home, you know, a few months before your wedding, and you have these ready to go, like, sit there watching TV and whittle away at the piece of plastic. Don't let this be something that you do the day of the wedding, because it's going to stress you out and it's going to be miserable. So don't do that to yourself. But those are other ideas and elements of incorporating just tiny little ideas and elements of detail into your wedding. Another element of detail that sometimes people forget, like, a lot of people, when you think of detail, you might think everything has to be really specific, right? Like details tend to be very specific, very finite things, but that doesn't mean that you can't overlap some of that detail into the rest of your wedding, right? So not only did I have this mint ribbon and I put it on the candy scoops and the candy tongs that I had as well, but I actually, some of the bowls that I used for the candy display, I had some of that ribbon there. Or on the centerpieces of my wedding table, I had some of that ribbon. Actually, I hot glued some of the mint ribbon, like a string of it, onto the outside of one of the little tea light candle holders that I had, right? And so you can incorporate details by overlapping and layering those details, and people recognize that sort of thing, right? Like it's human nature for our eyes to enjoy duplicity. It's human nature for our eyes to enjoy seeing things over and over again. There's plenty of marketing strategies, there's plenty of psychology, there's plenty of all sorts of things like that that have to do with duplication and seeing things over and over and over again, and the trust that you build with that. But the thing that I want to make note of is that when you buy a ton of this ribbon, you don't want to use it just for this, right? Like, this is what, 6-7 inches of ribbon for just this one. You're gonna end up buying like 50 yards of ribbon on like even a little spool of ribbon. So you can use that over and over again. And when you use and reuse those elements, people pick up on that, right? It's one thing just to see, oh, here is a nice candy scoop and it has some beautiful ribbon on it, and that's awesome. But when the ribbon is on the tables and on the candy scoop, and maybe it's like on the edge of your veil or your dress, or your bouquet is wrapped in that ribbon, or it's on, you know, it's in something else, people pick up on that. People recognize that. You know, there's a reason that we like seeing multiples of things. There's a reason that our eyes are instantly attracted to that sort of stuff. So don't forget the details in your wedding, and I know it will be a beautiful, wonderful wedding. So I encourage you to like, comment, and share on this video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always here for my brides, and hope you have a wonderful Wedding Wednesday and an awesome time. check out my website, myweddingplanningcourse.com. I actually have several online courses if you're interested in learning more about wedding planning and how to get started. I'm actually in the process of creating, I have a couple of training courses on there, but I'm actually in the process of creating a brand new course just for you. So hope you can make it, and I'll see you online. Bye.